Jace was a human mechanic on a distant space station far from Earth. The station was quiet most of the time, filled with machines that hummed and beeped. Aliens walked through the corridors, busy with their work, leaving humans like Jace to repair small engines and devices. Jace liked fixing things. Broken machines, old tools, anything that did not work, he loved bringing them back to life. One day, the station received a shipment of old relics from a long-forgotten alien empire. The items were strange and beautiful, covered with glowing lines and symbols. The aliens who examined them said they were dead. Nothing worked. One relic in particular drew Jace's attention. It was tall, silver, and shaped like a tower, with tiny moving parts that seemed stuck for hundreds of years. Aliens called it useless. They said, "It cannot be fixed. It is too old." Jace didn't listen. He had a feeling about it, a small whisper in his mind that told him it was not really broken. He cleaned the dust from its surface and carefully studied the strange symbols. He traced the lines with his fingers and noticed patterns in the circuits. The aliens watched, shaking their heads. They didn't understand how a human could see what they could not. Using simple tools, a small wrench, a thin screwdriver, and a soft brush, Jace began working on the relic. He tightened screws, connected tiny wires, and adjusted the delicate plates inside. Every move was slow and careful because he did not want to damage it. He could hear faint clicks and hums under his touch, like the relic was alive but sleeping. He smiled to himself, feeling excitement for the first time in weeks. Hours passed. The aliens grew impatient. "Human methods will not work," one said. "Stop wasting time." Jace ignored them. He knew that sometimes, machines needed patience more than power. He worked late into the station's quiet hours, alone with the relic. He spoke softly to it as if it could hear him. "Just a little more and you'll be all right," he said. Then, as he connected the final wire, a soft vibration ran through his hands. The relic shivered. Lights glowed along the lines, brighter and brighter until the whole structure seemed alive. Jay stepped back amazed. The hum he had felt earlier became a gentle voice, whispering directly into his mind, "Welcome home, my king." Jace froze. He did not understand. He was just a mechanic. He had never been a king and he certainly did not feel like one. The aliens around him gasped. Some backed away, afraid of what they saw. Others looked confused, unsure what was happening. The relic moved slightly, its plates adjusting as if it recognized Jace. The voice came again, calm and warm, "You are the one we waited for. You belong to us." Jace's heart pounded. He had only touched it with his hands, done what he loved most, fixing broken things, and somehow that was enough. He reached out again, lightly touching the relic. It responded with a gentle vibration like a heartbeat. The lights formed patterns, symbols he could not read, but he felt their meaning in his chest. The relic was alive in a way no machine had ever been. It was not dangerous. It was waiting for him. Jace looked around at the aliens. They had never seen a human do something like this. Some whispered among themselves, clearly impressed. Others were silent, their eyes wide. Jace shrugged. He had never wanted recognition. He only wanted to repair what was broken. Yet here, in front of him, was something ancient and mysterious, acknowledging him in a way he did not fully understand. He decided to sit near the relic. He studied its moving parts carefully, watching how energy flowed through it. He traced the glowing lines with his fingers again and realized the relic was not just a machine. It had memory, intelligence, and purpose. It had been waiting for someone who could understand, someone who could care enough to bring it back to life. The station grew dark outside, and the artificial lights reflected off the silver surface of the relic. Jace felt calm, even excited. He knew this was the beginning of something big. The aliens might not understand, but he did not care. He had fixed the impossible. He had awakened something old and wise. And the relic whispered once more, softly but clearly, "Welcome home, my king." Jace smiled. He still did not know what it meant, but he knew one thing for certain. He had just stepped into a story far larger than any engine or machine he had ever fixed. After the relic whispered to him, Jace could not sleep. He stayed in the small workshop, sitting near the silver tower. Its lights pulsed softly like it had a heartbeat. Every so often, the gentle hum reached him, carrying the same words, "Welcome home, my king." He still did not understand why it called him that, but he felt a strange connection, as if the relic knew something about him that he did not. The next morning, the station was buzzing. Aliens and humans alike had heard about what Jace had done. Some were curious, some doubtful, and a few even fearful. But Jace remained calm. He had always liked quiet work, and now he had something special to study. He wanted to understand the relic, not show it off. He touched the relic again, gently running his fingers along the glowing lines. Suddenly, the plates of the relic began to move on their own, opening like petals of a metallic flower. Soft light spilled from inside, casting patterns on the walls. Jace felt warmth in his chest. The relic was alive. It was aware. Then a voice, calm and deep, spoke clearly for the first time. Human detected. Royal lineage confirmed. Jace blinked. Royal, what? He asked aloud. The relic's voice did not answer him in words he knew. Instead, he felt meanings and ideas in his mind. It was telling him that humans had once been part of a greater civilization, and that he was connected to that past. The aliens around him watched in silence. They had studied relics like this for centuries, but none had ever awakened. None had recognized a human before. Some whispered, amazed, how can a human be connected to this? Others shook their heads, confused. But Jace only smiled quietly. He did not need anyone's approval. He only needed to understand. The relic moved closer to him, hovering slightly above the ground. It projected a small holographic map of the galaxy, showing stars, planets, and ancient paths. Jace leaned in. He could see patterns and connections that no star chart had ever shown. The relic was not only alive, it was a guide. It spoke again, softly, you are the first human in many cycles to awaken me. You carry the gift of creation. You can repair what is broken. Jace felt a shiver run through him. He had always fixed broken machines, small things in the station. But this was different. This was alive, intelligent, and ancient. Yet it seemed to trust him completely. The aliens started asking questions, their voices a mix of curiosity and disbelief. Does it speak to only him? One asked. Can it recognize anyone else? The relic responded, but not aloud. Jace felt the answers in his mind. It only spoke to him because humans carried something unique. Something that had been lost for centuries. The other species had their wisdom and knowledge, but humans had a spark that machines like this could recognize. Jace's hands trembled slightly as he touched the relic again. Its surface felt warm, almost soft under his fingers. He realized that it was teaching him, not just accepting him. It wanted him to understand how it worked, how to care for it, and how to awaken more of its secrets. He spent the day moving around the station with the relic following him. Wherever he went, lights flickered softly, and the hum continued. It seemed almost protective, like a loyal companion. Jace had never thought of himself as important, but the relic treated him with respect and care. By evening, word had spread across the station. Leaders from different alien groups arrived quietly to see the human and the relic. They watched as the relic moved in harmony with Jace, responding to his slightest touch. Some nodded in approval, others in disbelief. No one had expected a human to unlock the secrets of a lost empire. Jace noticed that the relic was not just a tool. It had memories. It remembered things from long ago, things humans had forgotten. It projected images of tall cities, shining towers, and fleets of starships. The humans in the images looked like ancestors, proud and wise, living among alien species as equals. Jace felt awe and responsibility at the same time. He was just a mechanic, but now he understood that the relic had chosen him for a reason. It was not giving him power to rule. It was giving him knowledge to restore. He could fix broken things not only on the station but in the galaxy itself, if he learned to follow its guidance. When the visitors left, the station quieted down. Jace sat with the relic again, feeling the warmth of its light. It pulsed gently as if pleased with him. And once more it whispered in his mind, "Welcome home, my king." Jace smiled. He still did not know what king truly meant in this context, but he no longer feared it. He had a new purpose now, guided by the relic, ready to discover the mysteries of the past and maybe help shape the future. For the first time, Jace felt that being a mechanic could mean more than repairing small things. It could mean restoring lost history, awakening the forgotten, and bringing hope back to the stars. Jace sat quietly in the workshop, the relic glowing softly beside him. Its hum filled the room like a gentle song. He had begun to understand that this was not just a machine. It had memory, knowledge, and a purpose that stretched far beyond the space station. The relic's voice echoed in his mind, calm and patient. "I will tell you the truth," it said. "About the past. About your people. About why you are here." Jace listened carefully. He had always loved learning, but what the relic revealed was unlike any lesson he had ever heard. Long ago, it explained, a great empire had ruled many stars. Humans were part of it. They lived not as servants or visitors but as leaders, builders, and creators. Aliens of many species had worked alongside them, sharing knowledge and technology. Humans had a spark, a unique ability to repair, restore, and create things others could not. The empire had been peaceful and strong, but over time, jealousy and fear had caused conflict. Wars broke out and the humans disappeared from the galaxy. Some were captured, others hidden, and most were forgotten. The relic had been created by that empire to wait for someone who carried the old human spark. Someone who could restore what was lost. Jace could hardly believe it. He was just a mechanic, a human who had grown up on a small space station. He had never thought of himself as special. Yet, the relic insisted that he was chosen. "You are the first in many cycles to awaken me," it said. "Your touch carries what has been missing for thousands of years." He studied the relic carefully. Its glowing lines pulsed gently as it spoke. Symbols he could not read floated in the air, forming shapes that reminded him of star maps. The relic was teaching him, showing him the connection between humans and the lost empire. He realized that the patterns were not just decoration, they were instructions, memories, and guidance. Jace remembered how he had always fixed broken machines with care and patience. Now he saw that this human skill had a deeper meaning. The Empire had trusted humans to repair not only machines but ideas, relationships, and civilizations. That was why the relic had recognized him. His hands could rebuild what had been destroyed. His mind could understand what others could not. Aliens who watched from a distance could not fully grasp it. They had studied relics for centuries, but none had ever awakened. None had recognized a human in this way. Some whispered among themselves, amazed at what they saw. "Why him?" they asked. "Why a human?" The relic answered Jace only. "Humans carry the gift of repair. You do not seek power. You do not command with fear. You create and restore. That is why I respond to you." Jace felt a mixture of awe and responsibility. He had never wanted to lead. He had never wanted to be in charge. But now he understood that being chosen by the relic was not about ruling. It was about helping. It was about fixing what was broken and protecting what remained. Over the next few hours, the relic shared more memories. He saw images of cities made of shining metal, filled with human and alien architects working together. Starships traveled along paths that humans had designed. Entire systems were connected by knowledge and care. And then he saw the fall, fires in the cities, empty streets, and humans vanishing into the shadows. Jace's heart ached. He had always felt small, living in a quiet corner of the galaxy. But now he realized that humans had once shaped the stars, and maybe they could do it again. The relic's light pulsed faster as if encouraging him. "The spark has not died," it said. "It lives in you." He looked around at the aliens on the station. Some were watching him, curious. Others were hesitant, unsure what to think. Jace smiled. He did not need their approval. He only needed to understand his own role. The relic had awakened a purpose he had never imagined. He could rebuild, not to rule but to restore balance and knowledge. The relic projected a holographic map of the lost empire. Planets, moons, and star systems glowed softly. Jace studied it, tracing lines with his fingers. He felt a connection to these places, even though he had never been there. The relic whispered, "One day you will visit them. One day you will bring the knowledge back." Jace nodded quietly. He did not feel like a king, but he understood what the relic meant. A king was not someone who demanded respect or ruled with power. A king could be someone who repaired, restored, and cared for what was broken. That was exactly what he had done with the relic, and what he would do again. For the first time he saw himself not as a simple mechanic but as a link between the past and the future. He had awakened an ancient relic. He had discovered the truth about his people. And he had learned that humans were special in a way no alien could fully understand. The relic glowed softly beside him, humming a gentle rhythm. "You are ready," it said. "The next step will come soon. You will not be alone." Jace smiled, feeling both excitement and calm. He knew that the journey ahead would be long and full of mysteries, but he was ready. He had learned the truth behind the relic. He had found a purpose he had never imagined. And he had discovered that even the smallest human could awaken the greatest wonders of the galaxy. After learning the truth from the relic, Jace felt a new sense of purpose. He was no longer just a mechanic on a quiet space station. He was a human who carried an ancient spark, someone capable of restoring what had been lost. Yet he did not want power or attention. He only wanted to fix things and help others. The relic, glowing softly beside him, seemed to understand completely. The next morning Jace began working in a new way. He walked through the station, repairing machines, tools, and devices that had been broken for months. But this time the relic was with him. Wherever he went, it hovered close, lights pulsing gently, responding to his touch. It seemed almost alive, as if it was guiding him and learning from him at the same time. Aliens stopped to watch him. Some were curious, some skeptical, and some clearly impressed. They had studied technology for centuries, yet they had never seen a human fix things in the way Jace did. He used careful observation, patience, and intuition. He did not rely on advanced scanners or powerful tools. He relied on understanding, and the relic enhanced his skill, showing him small details he would have missed. For example, an energy core in one part of the station had been unstable for weeks. Aliens had tried every method they knew, but nothing worked. Jace examined it, touched the wiring, and carefully realigned the circuits. The relic glowed as he worked, guiding his hands. Slowly, the core stabilized, its soft hum filling the corridor. The aliens watched in awe. "How can a human do this?" one whispered. Jace smiled quietly. "Sometimes you just need patience," he said. He never claimed it was magic. He simply understood how to listen to the machine, and the relic seemed to amplify that understanding. Word spread quickly across the station. Jace was no longer just a mechanic. He became a teacher without trying. Aliens came to him with broken devices, and he showed them how to fix them. They watched carefully, learning the simple logical steps he used. Some began to see that human methods were different but effective. It was not about power or force. It was about observation, care, and repair. The relic showed him more than just machines. It projected images of ancient blueprints, star maps, and hidden knowledge from the lost empire. Jace studied them all, learning how to combine old human techniques with modern alien technology. Slowly, he realized that he could restore much more than broken devices. He could bring knowledge, ideas, and lost methods back to the galaxy. Aliens asked him questions constantly. "How do humans learn so fast?" one said. "How do you see solutions where we only see problems?" Jace only shrugged. "We like to solve problems," he said simply. But he knew the answer was deeper. Humans had a spark, a gift for understanding and restoring, and the relic had recognized it. Days passed, and Jace's role on the station grew. He repaired engines, stabilized energy cores, and even helped design small improvements that made the station more efficient. The relic hovered nearby, its lights pulsing brighter when he succeeded. It seemed proud, though it never said so aloud. Its whispers continued softly in his mind, reminding him that he was not just a mechanic, he was a human chosen to rebuild and restore. One evening, as the station quieted, Jace sat with the relic projecting an old map of the lost empire. The images showed cities, starships, and people living in harmony with aliens. He traced the paths with his fingers, imagining the possibilities. "Maybe we can rebuild some of this," he thought quietly. "Maybe we can bring back what was lost." The relic's hum filled the room. "The spark has returned," it said gently. "You are ready to restore more than machines." Jace smiled. He understood that he was not alone. The relic would guide him, but he had to act. He was a human chosen to repair, rebuild, and restore balance where it had been lost. Aliens visiting the station noticed the change in him. He carried a calm confidence, a quiet strength, and a willingness to help others. They began to trust his judgment and follow his guidance. It was not leadership through force but leadership through knowledge, patience, and care. Jace realized that this was what the relic meant by calling him king. A king could restore and protect, not dominate. By the end of the week, the station felt different. Machines worked better, the corridors were safer, and aliens spoke more respectfully to Jace. He had found his new role, not as a ruler but as a restorer, a teacher, and a problem solver. And all of it was guided by the relic, which seemed to grow more alive with every task he completed. That night, Jace sat near the relic again. The silver tower glowed softly, humming in rhythm with his heartbeat. It whispered once more, "You are ready, my king. The next step awaits." Jace closed his eyes and nodded. He was no longer just a mechanic fixing broken tools. He was a human with a purpose, chosen to restore lost knowledge, rebuild what had fallen, and guide the future in a way no one else could. For the first time he felt the weight of responsibility, and the quiet joy of knowing he was exactly where he belonged. The space station was unusually busy that morning. Aliens of many kinds had come from distant parts of the galaxy. They had heard stories of a human who had awakened an ancient relic, and now they wanted to see it for themselves. Jace walked quietly through the central hall, the silver relic hovering beside him, glowing softly like a gentle sun. The light reflected on the walls and floors, casting patterns that seemed alive. For the first time, Jace felt a little nervous. He had repaired machines and taught others how to fix devices, but this was different. Leaders from alien worlds, scholars, and explorers were watching him. Yet the relic's hum was calm, steady, and reassuring. It whispered softly in his mind, "You are ready. You are exactly where you should be." When the gathering began, silence filled the hall. Aliens and humans alike looked at Jace and the relic. The silver tower pulsed with energy, projecting soft holographic images of old cities, starships, and human ancestors who had once lived among the stars. The visitors gasped in awe. They had studied these ancient civilizations for centuries, but none had ever seen them brought to life in this way. The relic spoke through Jace, though its voice was gentle, almost musical. "The one you see before you is not a ruler of fear," it said. "He is a restorer, a builder, a guide. He awakens what was lost and brings knowledge back to life." Jace's heart beat fast. He had never wanted power. He had never sought attention. He was just a mechanic. Yet now, in front of so many witnesses, he realized that being chosen by the relic meant more than repairing broken devices. It meant helping others, guiding them, and restoring knowledge that had been forgotten for thousands of years. Aliens whispered to one another. "A human, chosen to restore the lost empire?" one asked. Another nodded. "He is calm, precise, and wise beyond his years. Perhaps this is the way forward." The relic then projected a map of the galaxy, showing star systems that had been abandoned, cities that had fallen, and knowledge that had been lost. Jace looked at the images with care. He traced his finger along the lines connecting planets and starships. It was clear to him now. His role was not to rule or dominate, but to repair, rebuild, and guide others toward harmony. He turned to the gathered aliens. "I am not here to command anyone," he said quietly. "I am here to help. We can restore what was lost, learn from the past, and work together. That is how we move forward." The room was silent for a moment. Then one by one aliens began to nod. Some stepped forward, offering their knowledge and help. Scholars shared maps of lost worlds. Engineers provided data on ancient machines. Slowly, Jace realized that he was no longer working alone. The relic had chosen him, but together they could achieve something much greater than he could have imagined. Over the next few hours, Jace demonstrated small repairs and restorations using the relic's guidance. Broken communication devices began to work again. Energy cores stabilized. Holographic archives from the lost empire flickered back to life. The visitors watched in wonder. Many had thought the knowledge of the old empire was gone forever. But now, with a human mechanic and the relic together, it was coming back piece by piece. The relic hovered near Jace, its light pulsing softly in rhythm with his heartbeat. It projected images of long-lost human ancestors, their eyes filled with wisdom and kindness. Jace felt a connection he had never experienced before. This was not just history, it was a responsibility, a living memory, and a chance to restore balance to the galaxy. As the day came to an end, the visitors departed, carrying with them the knowledge they had witnessed. The station felt calm again, but it was a different calm than before. There was hope, energy, and purpose. Machines hummed smoothly. Aliens and humans moved with renewed purpose. And Jace sat quietly near the relic, feeling its warmth and listening to its soft hum. It whispered one final time that day, "The spark has returned. The new beginning is yours, my king." Jace smiled, understanding at last what it meant. He was not a king in the way most imagined. He was not a ruler demanding loyalty or fear. He was a restorer, a guide, a human chosen to bring back lost knowledge and to help others rebuild. He had found his place in the galaxy not through power but through care, skill, and the willingness to help. He touched the relic gently, feeling its warmth, and whispered back, "Then we will begin." And in that moment, a quiet light spread across the station, a light that seemed to carry hope to distant worlds. The galaxy had found a new beginning, guided by a human mechanic, a relic from a forgotten empire, and the promise of restoration. Jace looked out of the observation window at the stars. Each one seemed to shine a little brighter, as if the universe itself was welcoming him. He knew the journey ahead would be long, full of challenges and mysteries, but he was ready. For the first time he felt that he truly belonged. The relic pulsed softly beside him, a loyal companion and teacher. Together they would repair what was broken, awaken what had been forgotten, and light the path for a galaxy that had waited far too long for a human's touch. The future was uncertain, but Jace smiled, knowing that even the smallest human could make a difference. The stars were alive, the relic was awake, and a new beginning had begun.